This one lead generation method has literally made me over $200,000 in the last 12 months, so let's talk about it. Hey, what's going on? It's me, Vayna. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so glad you're here because after wholesaling for almost 2 years now, I'm going to share what has personally worked for me best, mistakes I've made, and the number one method that I have used to get these wholesale deals easily. I'm even partnering with the company I use to get these wholesale deals on a giveaway for you guys, so stay tuned to the end for details and a chance to work with this company for free. All right, so let's get into it. This is literally my secret sauce, you guys. So what had happened was I stumbled upon this company called Open Letter Marketing last year. I had been a real estate agent for about a year. I'd done some deals. I was looking for new ways to kind of expand my lead generation. I was cold calling daily. I was setting appointments from cold calling and doing deals until the mentor I was working with to help me with wholesaling was like, hey, Vayna, you should try Open Letter Marketing. You've made some money. You should send out some mailers. I was like, because this was actually his primary lead generation method, he sends tens of thousands of mailers out per month to his farm. So I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, I've been cold calling this whole time and it's creating some result, but let me try this out. I've made some money. Let me send out some postcards and see if this works. I decided to go big and just for the one time send out 15,000 postcards to the area that I was already working here around Seattle area. And lo and behold, I got some results out of it. This was in July. I believe I sent out a bunch of postcards. If you've been following me for a while on my journey, I started posting December 2020, I think. So some of you have been here for the full ride, and maybe you remember last year when I did my first wholesale deal from POSTCARDS, which was pretty sick. Out of those 15,000 postcards, I believe I went on between 6 and 8 appointments, and I actually got 3 contracts signed out of that batch. It was super exciting, and I'm going to detail a couple of my deals that I've done in a minute, but first I want to tell you guys kind of what this process looks like when I send out postcards. So best practices, I found that for every 2,000 postcards I send out, I'll set one appointment with a motivated seller. I put my real name, my business address, and then a Google Voice number, which is my work number, on the cards. And yes, people cuss me out. They tell me to stop mailing to their address. Totally fair. Like, not everyone wants these cards, obviously. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. And for this reason, some people who mail out postcards will send all the calls straight to voicemail, which is a big mistake. These homeowners who are calling us from our postcard because they want to sell their house, like they're motivated, they're calling us when the timing is right for them. And if we let it go to voicemail and try to get them on the phone later, number one, it might not be the right timing for them anymore. They might not be in the right mind frame. And number two, you might not even ever get a hold of them again. So it's really important to pick up the calls as soon as they come in. You might get cussed out. You might get a motivated seller. Which one would you rather have? But to wrap this point up, like I said, the people are calling us when the timing is right for them. So to send those people to voicemail because you don't want the chance of getting yelled at. So once I get a lead from a postcard and I set the appointment, the process is virtually the same as any other wholesale appointment. Just like if I had cold called, door knocked, texted the person, remember these are all just lead generation strategies to get in front of sellers. And once you get the appointment, the process is the same. I just happen to be talking about postcards today. I have other videos on the full wholesaling process, but I get a lot of questions specifically around the lead generation methods that I use and have found most effective. So check those out on my channel and let's talk about the deals that I've done from postcards. All right, so my most exciting deal was my first one from postcards. I ended up making $80,000 on the assignment fee. I took home less because I was still new to wholesaling and I was paying a mentor. So what had happened was I sent out those 15,000 postcards. I probably got like 20 or 30 people who called just to tell me to take them off the list or that your offer is freaking insulting. But I got a call from a lady and she was like, hey, I need to sell my house in Auburn, Washington. Can you come take a look and make me an offer? So I set the appointment just like that. That's the best thing about passive marketing, which is like postcards, running ads, etc., is the people are coming to you and they're already motivated. So there's not much you need to do except set the appointment to meet. It's very easy. So I was like, okay, perfect. We just need to see the house. You know, what's better for you? Tonight at 4 or tomorrow at noon? I don't know exactly which times I gave her, but I did my process. I looked at exactly how much we'd be able to offer on the house. And then we went over there, brought my mentor. The deal with my mentor was that he would help me with the negotiation, the analysis, selling the deal, give me the contracts, all of that for half the profit. And that's a great deal if you remember how I just said we ended up making 80 on the deal total. So we went over there, took a look at the house, looked at how much work it would need. It was a pretty solid house. It was just a cosmetic rehab and flippers love those. So it was actually very easy to disposition, which means to sell. I put it up on Facebook groups after we got it under contract. And I originally put it up for, I think we were just trying to make 40 total. So I believe we put under contract for $370. And then I was trying to sell it for $410. The ARV was somewhere around $550. So it was a really good deal. It needed like maybe $40,000 worth of work. And after putting it on Facebook, if you know anything about Facebook investor groups, good deals go like this. So I probably got like 60 inquiries on that house. Now remember, this was in the middle of the pandemic as well. So housing was super, super hot. I got tons of inquiries. I ended up showing it to 4 or 5 people. Basically what happened was it got bid up. So one person was like, all right, I'll take it, list price, or offering price. And then I told the next person like, hey, I got someone who's willing to pay our price. Do you want to make an offer? And they offered $10,000 more than what we were asking. So then I took that to the next person and the next person, and I just chose the highest bidder. And this one was a little bit lucky because the reason that I was able to sell it for so much, literally double what I was expecting, instead of $410, we got $450, right? $370, $450, that's 80 grand, because the end buyer was doing a 1031 exchange, so they had to spend the money. They sold an investment property, they needed to defer the tax, so they had to spend all the proceeds in order to defer the tax and not pay it right away. So I got a buyer at $450. We wrote the assignment agreement and we got paid, I think it was like 2 weeks later because they were all cash. So in about 3 to 4 weeks of work, my partner and I made $80,000 from that one postcard. And I spent less than $10,000 on 15,000 postcards. It felt great, obviously, splitting an $80K check. The end game for me is buying property, so it went straight to savings. But then I did another deal that was pretty similar. This one took a little bit longer and we made less, more of an average wholesale assignment fee. But same deal. It was an elderly man. He had a house in Federal Way, Washington. He was moving to Utah and he made it very clear that he did not want to put his house on the market. He didn't want to work with realtors. He didn't want to deal with buyers. And he liked our offer when we went over there and made it to him. But he did need, I believe, 60 days to move. So we put the property under contract in August and we closed in October, which was totally fine. When we're getting a good deal on a house, we'll give the seller as much time as they need. We can be flexible, especially since it was so hot and there wasn't too much uncertainty about the market. But that one, I believe, put under contract for $400, sold it for $440. And then the flipper ended up selling it for like $650. So he made a bag, we made a bag, and the seller was happy because he didn't have to let anyone else through his house and he got to move on his timeline. This one also was a very easy seller to work with. Literally, we told him what we were doing. I always tell sellers that I'm making a contract with them, but I'm going to sell it to someone else and charge the buyer. So we might have people come through. I only showed that one to like one person, I think, and they bought it right away. And the whole time the seller was like, I don't care what you do with the property. If this is the price you're giving me, I'm good. This is when I move, I'm good. So that was a really easy deal. Side note about wholesaling, like I said, I've got other videos detailing the processes and all the things that you need to know, but there are a lot of nuances in wholesaling, and it especially varies by market. And having a mentor helped me like a ton. So I would really recommend partnering up with someone experienced if you haven't wholesaled before, so that you do things right the first time and you don't mess up these big checks. You know what I mean? And you only need a partner like 2 or 3 times before you get the hang of it and you can do it yourself. So totally worth it. I already made $60,000 off those 2 deals that I got to use to buy property. So postcards, they work really well. So that's the gist. If you want to just get started, the company's called Open Letter Marketing. I don't know if I've even mentioned that yet, but their link is down below. You can browse all their different products. I really like their handwritten letters and their postcards. I'll put some examples on the screen, but basically they just say, hey, I am interested in buying your house. I can offer you all cash, no commissions, no closing fees, and close on your timeline. And then it's my number so that they can reach out to me. I recommend sending 5,000 to 15,000 postcards out if you really want to go big. Who is it for? I would say postcards are for people who have less time, that don't necessarily have the time to like go cold call or door knocking, and they have some check equity that they can spend on something like postcards to create some fast results for themselves. So before we wrap up here and tell you a little bit about our giveaway, I wrote down 3 big differences between cold calling and mailers because, like I said, I was cold calling before, and I did some like 20K deal, 30K deals with cold calling, and I still cold call and I like cold calling, but there are a few differences, one of them being the timing. That being said, and because I do kind of get the question sometimes, should I start with cold calling? Should I mail out? Should I door knock? What should I do? I have found 3 major differences between cold calling and sending out mailers, first of which is going to be the timing. timing. Like I mentioned before, the sellers are calling us when they are in the right mind frame to sell. When you cold call or door knock, you don't know what the seller is doing at that time. They might be at work and you can't reach them. You might be interrupting their dinner or their daughter's birthday party. And that could cause some initial irritation on the first meeting, even if they do plan on selling. So you might get a no. When my sellers received my mailers, they looked over my letter, read what I'm about, and decided that this could be a good option for them at this time. And so they reached out to me. They're in the mind frame of selling, which is why it's so important to not let these guys go to voicemail. Number 2 difference, and I touched on this a little bit too, is passive versus active marketing. Now, depending on the type of person you are, you might prefer one or the other. So subjectively, mailers and running ads are generally the passive methods of marketing for off-market properties. Short of choosing how many mailers you send out, you have very little control over the outcome. In something like cold calling and door knocking, your skills come to play. You can choose when you pick up the phone and how many contacts you make and the quality of your conversations. You can pick up the phone and set an appointment within the hour, but you really have no idea who's going to call you off your postcards and when. It's kind of like a gamble in that sense, but it's all really a numbers game. The more you send out, the better result you're going to have. But like I say, some people prefer this passive marketing. This is perfect for the people who don't have the time to do something like cold calling and door knocking, and they want to spend a little bit of money to get some off-market opportunities. And number 3 difference between calling and sending out mailers is the competition. Now, in my experience, whenever I cold call someone, they have 10 other people who have cold called them, and they get the calls every day, every week, very, very often. And they're usually sick of it. This isn't to say that cold calling doesn't work, because it definitely does. And I have videos of me cold calling and the results I've gotten. But what I've noticed is that when I send mailers, I get to hit the people who we can't reach on the phone or aren't even on our list. You know, when you skip trace a list, which is just getting contact info from a list of properties, you don't get everybody's phone number, and they're not all right, and not everybody picks up. So when I send mailers to people's tax mailing addresses, I'm way more likely to hit the right person. So in my mind, that clears a lot of the competition against those cold callers. There are also a couple tips on beating the competition with mailers, like generally white postcards and handwritten postcards and handwritten envelopes and stickered envelopes or stamped envelopes generally have a higher conversion rate than like normal postcards. So those are the key differences. Remember, in any passive marketing plan, this is a numbers game. Like I said, the more you send out, the better result you'll get. And also remember that while I've mentioned that open letter marketing has helped me a lot with wholesale deals, that's just how it's been going for me. You can find any type of deal through wholesaling. All they do is send out mailers to a list of your choosing. So you can use open letter to try to find BRRRRs, rentals, sub-2, creative finance deals, seller finance. The sky is the limit. So with that being said, I'm very, very excited and proud to announce that I get to partner up with Open Letter Marketing after using their service for the last year and a half. And we are doing a giveaway of 1,000 real penned postcards. So whatever you want to say to 1,000 addresses of your choosing. They have these handwriting machines. I'll put an example of the screen that write exactly what you want to say in real inked pen. So people know you're a real person. We're giving away 1,000 of these. It starts September 1st. Hopefully I can get this video out in time, but we're running September 1st through September 9th. Just click the link down below, put in your contact info so we can reach out to you if you win. Check out Open Letter Marketing's website to learn more about them. If you want to just send out some postcards today, that link is also below. Let me know your questions. I hope I covered everything, but reach out to the Open Letter Marketing team if you have any questions. Let them know Vena sent you. They are super helpful, super nice people. They are based out of, I don't remember, somewhere on the west side of the US, but like I said, Jake Soper and Justin, those are my guys at Open Letter. Hit them up, and I hope you win that contest. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next one.